spine tall. Take your shoulders back, shoulder blades down, so that the limbs, these arms, from their anchors in the spine, let that whole broad shoulder girdle spread away from the spine and down, out, down toward the extremities. Even as you join the palms in front of the sternum, keep those shoulders broadening, releasing. Keep the rib cage, spine lifted. Make your breath even and rhythmical. And open up each of the regions of the body: pelvic, abdomen, chest, throat, head, spine. All of these, you can call them compartments, confinements. Make sure each of them is connected in its own way to this exhalation and inhalation, so that all tissues are receptive. In this way, draw the senses and mind inward. And pay homage to this practice and to that root teacher, Patanjali. Bow your head. Release your hands. Raise your head and open your eyes. Stretch your legs. Change the crossing. Sit straight. I'm going to turn sideways so you see. I'm going to set this camera a little bit differently and spotlight myself. And also, there we go. So you are seated with your second leg crossing, and I'm facing sideways. This right here that I'm pointing to is, we call it the shoulder, but in fact it's your arm bone. It's the top of the arm bone. So if you raise your arm, this part of your, this is the other end of that bone, okay? So your arm bone and all this muscle of the front has to come up and over the top of the rib cage, so that arm bone goes to toward your back. So if you look at your back, it's not that you're doing a back bend, your back's not doing anything, but your shoulder girdle is climbing back around to your back. Keep your arms on your back and take them down and away from the ribs. Now the arms are going to come up. When it comes up, it does not go up toward your head, just as now that arm is stretching away from the skull. Even as it comes up, this part of the neck is staying long. So there is no reverse uphill here. Everything is coming down to go out the arm. Stretch up. When you do this, keep that arm on your back. So one hand is giving support to move that arm bone right at the socket back. Stretch your elbows straight. Change arms if you need to help one, then the other. Armpit back. Okay, release, come out. That was good. So a thing to point out to you is that in terms of just quantity of muscle attaching your arm to your trunk, most of it is on your back. Relatively little is on the front. Most of it's on your back. So take your arms up again. Keep that shoulder socket back so you feel that shoulder blade flat. Look, take one arm up. Use the other arm to help. Stretch that shoulder blade up. The root of this arm extension is down here. That arm involves your whole back. Change arms. Good, that's straight now. Vidya, nice straight arm. Take the other arm, help it go up. The armpit has to go back along with the upper arm. And then it goes up. And it goes up so you feel that extension all up the back. And out you come. Good. Eventually you have to learn how to do that without the assistance of another arm. So stand up and bring yourself far enough back away from the camera that I can see you as full length as possible. I don't have to see your hands, but I want to see you. I want to see above your elbow, above the crown of your head. And it'd be great if I saw your feet too. But you just get that camera as far away as you can so I can see. That is all. Now, stretch your arms away from your skull. And even though they're reaching like this, keep that sense of lateral spread, not just away from the skull, but spread your back. Okay. Roll the arms from that shoulder to turn your palms out. Then take the arms up, go carefully, watch. I'm just going to keep going. You've got to stretch up tall. Take the arms back. Let your head come forward if you need to. Stretch your arms straight. Widen your ribs and join your palms. Join your palms. The only way you get there is by widening that rib cage. Stretch your elbows straight, Karen. Make the work in the rib cage. Good, come out. That's good. Some of you I know interlock the thumbs or fingers, and that's okay. Eventually, the arms learn to work independently. Now, a strap. Take that strap. Some of you, before a strap, some of you will be able to interlock your fingers behind your back and do everything we've discussed up till now, which is, once again, think arm bone in the socket has to roll back for you to straighten those arms. So if that's not happening, meaning if straightening your arms causes in some fashion the shoulder to tuck forward, it has to, then you need to widen the wrists so that you can, okay? So some of you will take a narrow strap, not one which causes pain, but one which does the most, right? Now, rest for a second and watch what I do with this. The one thing is just a simple stretch straight down, straightening the elbows. So you see here is with a strap. So without it, the hands just bend at the elbows and otherwise do the same thing. So my fingers, if you see this, my fingers are squeezing each other so that palm can stay broad. Yeah. So don't be trying to do a death grip. See if you can keep it open. Here's what happens. Stretch the arm away from your sternum and lift the arms. Go away from the front body, shoulder blades on the back, and raise the arms. Raise the arms. Lift the ribs. Reach the arms back. You're going to get an enormous puffy chest. Keep stretching the arms. Go upright, gay, no forward leaning. And release, come out, but don't forget which side your fingers are interlocked, because you're going to do this twice with the alternate interlock. Do you see it? I'm just shifting fingers. Okay. So the fingers, Vidya, remain on the outside. You can do it this way. Right? Stretch those elbows. Get your chest lifted so that shoulder girdle has a chance to get on the back. Stand straight, lift your spine, reach the arms away from your sternum. The more you lift the arms, the different muscle fibers in this fan of muscle across the joint stretches. It stretches differently. So reach back and lift those arms. Lift your ribs, reach the arms back. Shoulder blades stay down your back, but the armpits open. Release, come out. Stand straight near a wall if you like, but get in view. I want to see you, so move back and take, again, with support near or be free balancing, just nothing behind or in front. Take Vrikshasana. Stay with the legs for a bit. Stretch through your straight leg. Take the thigh of the bent leg down. Push through the heel against the standing leg and push back with the standing leg. These two pushes should make those legs join. Roll the buttocks down equally, both sides. Lift the front spine up equally, both sides. Take your arms up, use the wall for support or not, you pick. Keep those shoulder blades on the back. The head can come forward if the arms come back to join behind your ears. Stretch up. Stretch taller. Stretch your back. And release, come out one thing at a time. Arms first, leg second, or leg first, arms second. Stand there straight for a bit. Ouch. And change sides. Resist and lengthen through the standing leg. Descend the lifted leg so the heel presses firmly. Lengthen both legs so both groins open. Sacroiliac, buttocks descending. Front spine ascending. Now stretch your arms away from the spine. Keep those shoulders on your back. Then the arms come up behind you so that you can find Paschima Namaskarasana. So if for some reason you're interlocking fingers or thumbs, change the interlock on side 2. Stretch tall. Open your back. And then stretch your arms. Then one thing at a time, come out. Legs first, then arms. Arms first, then legs. Good. Okay. A chair. You will need a chair. Let's see. Yeah, I'll go this way so you can see my back. So, you know, there's this way of stretching the shoulders in that pose, Gomukhasana, where you do everything we did, and then you bend your elbow behind your back. So, you know, this shape, right? Okay, so what I'm actually after is for you to catch hold of your own right, this is my right hand, and it goes up and it comes in and back. And if it's stiff, it's gonna go this way. If I can make that shoulder open, it catches its own shoulder blade. See that? Right hand, right shoulder blade. That's what I'm looking for, okay? Do it with the left arm just to warm it up. So look, Vidya, the arm like this is not gonna help you too much in what I'm after. This part has to come up high and in. So you get that full extension, and this hand, right? It doesn't cross over here, it comes in to its own size and reaches up, elbow in. Good, all right. Watch. I guess, well, I go to what looks like your right side and I turn my hips. Now, right here, there's a back bend shape, and I have to follow that extension all the way up from both legs to roll these shoulders back. And I take my arms up and I do everything. You don't have to do Namaste. You can interlock your fingers, but stretch your back. Okay. Then front leg hand goes down. Back leg hand goes to the shoulder blade and you come forward. Now, looky, tight people, you put your elbow on the top of the chair and turn. Parivrita. More flexible. You'll go to the chair seat. Now, don't keep your hand turned. It says to get your back ribs to move. So once your elbow's down, don't worry about hand position. Keep your shoulder comfortable. Stand there, right foot forward, left foot back. Take a long stance, Chaya. Make a decision early. Do you want to put that elbow on the chair back or the chair seat? Long legs, Vidya. Now, hip square. Chaya, your back leg arm is the Gomukhasana arm. The front leg arm stays on the hip. Front leg arm on the hip, back leg arm comes up, the elbow bends, and you reach forward, Parivrita Trikonasana. Reach that elbow, Chaya. Where's your elbow? Oh, I see it now. Reach that, nope, the other elbow. See the other elbow. I want to see it. Yes, reach it to the chair seat. Soon as it gets to the chair seat, let the hand go. So you don't twist the shoulder, but turn. Yes, yes. Just support your head turn. Reach that elbow, Karen. Way far out. Stretch both legs. Good. Now, carefully prepare your legs, come up. This is just work to make those back shoulder, back ribs stretch out. Doesn't feel like a great pose, probably. It's because I'm exaggerating some elements. So just see it again. I'm going to change sides. So it's one leg forward, one leg back. The leg that's forward, that hand stays to the hip. The leg that's back, well, sorry, I beg your pardon. First off, you come up stretching your legs and your arms. It looks like Virabhadrasana 1, right? Then the back leg hand stays up, the front leg hand goes to the hip, the back leg elbow bends, hand goes to the shoulder blade, and you stretch from your back heel to what's now your front elbow. It's your back elbow, just gotten way ahead, and you reach it either to the chair back or the chair seat. Once you get support, just support your head, elbow down, head supported, turn, reach. Most of the work was done before you landed. It was done in the extension. Good, Vidya, but keep that knee bent straight. Good, good. Come out gradually. Once you land, the pose is sort of, it's not a great Parivrtta Trikonasana. Now, excuse me, now let's do Parivrtta Trikonasana with a little less maximum stretch and see if we can make rotation happen. Watch, this is a different use of the shoulder. Previously, it was just, pulling the pose with the arm. Here, you'll be sort of, I don't know if this is the word for it, but you'll be bringing the pose from behind. So the arms stretch down like Shalabhasana, away from the spine, away from the skull, and the back leg hand scoops those ribs forward as it comes around. The top hand stays in position, shoulder on your back. Might go up if the turn is good. So you do it with the arms down, with the shoulder blades on the back. Now, again, don't do a death grip here of those back shoulders. You are just using all of that shoulder support structure to turn the ribs as you come into the pose. So back leg side comes forward, back leg hand and arms scoop those ribs forward as you bring your hand to the chair. Don't go overhead with that arm. You don't detach the, don't detach the arm to reach. Instead, bring the ribs with you. So your shoulders, always, those back muscles are always shepherding the back along. So that top hand can stay on the hip, or it can reach back continuously like Shalabhasana, because some of us have stiffness in the neck, and stretching that top arm, Shalabhasana, like roll that shoulder, Vidya. Roll that shoulder, that's right. Can help the neck. Now, prepare to come out, then come out. Did you get the difference between the way the shoulder girdle moves against the rib cage? One is all of these back muscles are pre-stretched. which in fact makes movement a little more difficult when all these back muscles are shorter, looser. Much more rib movement is possible. So I'm asking you, just keep your shoulder blades on your back, turn your ribs, right? Side two, left foot forward, long stance, face your chair, and make sure it's the proper distance from you for landing whatever you're landing. Now, don't squeeze your sides, take your arms back and stretch, Shalabhasana. And then as you come into the pose, the back side rib cage is escorted by the shoulder. The top side is escorted by the shoulder. The way it's made. Now, if you have neck problems, you just keep that top arm reaching backward, thumb down, thumb up. You can look down. This is a lovely neck release pose. If you get that arm parallel to your spine. All right, prepare to come out and then come out. And stand up and bring your feet back to Tadasana or Samastitihi. And with whatever support might suit you, which could include a bare chair seat or blankets piled up, take your feet about hip width and fold forward, resting your head and arms on the chair seat or the chair back, but give support, if you see me, arms and skull. Make it so those legs can be straight. Make it so that your trunk can lengthen. It doesn't have to be horizontal, but it's got to be straight without straining the shoulders. No shoulder strain. Soft abdomen, pelvis, diaphragm, chest, throat, head, spine. Keep the shoulder sockets safe. The way to do that is, as we've been discussing, keep that armpit, the shoulder socket, lifted toward the back body. Don't let the armpit drop to the floor. And lengthen the back. Now, come up. Take whatever support is necessary. Now we're going to do, I don't know, 3 minutes, if we can manage it, of headstand or preparation for headstand. So that preparation, and I really want you to be careful if you do a sort of borderline headstand. I prefer you did preparation because I want your upper back to be quite long. So if you do a happy headstand for 3 minutes or so with chair support or the floor or a device like you know, like a chair but different, or a rope wall, whatever you do, do a 3-minute headstand. If you don't have those devices and you're just beginner, you should do everything but the head support. So your feet can come wide apart and your knees could even bend while you work this strength to sustain the pose. So don't strain your back, don't pull out your hamstrings. Get yourself as inverted as you can. Well, Gay, your headstand looks straighter. You've been learning things in your practice. This is good. I can't see your head and shoulders, but from the ribs to the feet, you look vertical. So I'm making an inference. If you remember inference. By all means, rest if you don't have a lot of strength for this. The arms extend outward from the spine and skull. Whether the head's on the floor, off the floor, doesn't matter the position. Now you're starting to drift very slightly gay. You need to shift toward your right side. Gay. Oh, it was Gay in the corner and Cliff standing there. Cliff needed to. Oh, well, you have very similar legs at a distance. I thought you were wearing shorts. Come on, please, everybody. Rest your head. Now, once you are rested, get a chair with a sticky mat on the chair seat and put it, excuse me, up close to a wall. It doesn't have to touch the wall, just close to a wall. And a sticky mat underneath that would be helpful. Now, what else might be helpful, and this depends on how tight your front thighs are. So what might be helpful is a blanket or two, and I'll show right off the bat. If you essentially raise the level of the chair seat, and watch what I do, I'm gonna put my foot and knee through this chair seat, so I'm sitting on my thigh and shin. So if I turn the chair toward you, my knee comes in and I sit on that chair seat. Now, Some of you will feel like having a wide stance. Some of you will bring the foot in and have a narrower stance. Doesn't bother me. You sit comfortably. Watch. This is my right foot. I put my right knee in. See how my buttock hangs off the edge of the chair? My left leg goes back. And before I do anything else, I get my pelvis to face straight. Then this back leg stretches. Now those with low back tension, lean forward. There is no back bend at this time. It is when you open that spine and release its length. I hope you saw that first part. I just moved my ribs away from the hips, and I'm letting that low back find its own shape. Pushing with the arms. Okay, back leg straight. Now, if you come up on enough blankets, this is fairly pleasant. If you are too low, you don't want to sit on your foot. You want to sit on your thigh with your foot folded off to the side, like swastikasana. And it can be in close to your hip or more open, but a swastikasana. Toes tucked under, stretch through that back thigh. So the more your chest is attempting to come upright, the more your back leg will be tempted to bend, to accommodate. So make sure the leg does no accommodation, and find out how to lengthen the spine, right? Letting the knee bend is a psychological back bend. Come out. This should be difficult in the leg, but not the spine. If that is true, wave your hand in a positive way. If this is getting to your spine, now is the time to wave your hand. Karen, is it getting to your spine? Does this mean I don't know? Will you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm feeling a lift in my spine, but it's not pressure or anything.
Good, fine. Next, yes, child.
I'm getting back of my leg and this part lengthen. Back leg and little bottom
back leg.
Spine, this area.
Are you?
Yeah.
This is pain, you're saying?
No pain. No pain.
Extension.
Extension. I got extension back of the leg and lower back.
Very good. I'm hoping you have sensation also in the front surface or the depth of the groin. Right? Okay. Do we need side 2? Yes.
I think we did both sides.
Did we do both sides? Not everybody did both sides.
Okay, well, I'll repeat one more time.
So please do. That would be a good idea. And if things went well, Chaya, take away blankets, 1 or 2. It's your idea. Those who are on side 2 for the first time, don't change your props. It's only if you are repeating. Okay, turn that pelvis to face forward. Brace that back foot as you stretch the leg. Use your breath. Use your muscle. Push, pull with your arms on that chair back to lift your ribs away from the pelvis. Lift up, open that chest. Do some form of back bend. Keep the outer front thigh against the chair, Chaya. Outer front thigh. Make that back pelvis even. Yes, I bet you'll have to move your right buttock back, the one you're seated on. If you move it back to outer, that's it. The back left hip will roll better. You feel that. Yes. Get the outer hip and rib around. Long spine, as long as you can make it. Open that chest. It's a back bend. Now, come out slowly. Oh. So we've got some repetition going on. That's it. Back up the left hip, Chaya. Left the one you're seated upon. Move it further back so that the outer right hip, front hip, can make contact with the chair. And Vidya, you stretch your right leg, inner right thigh. Yes, it should make you feel like the leg has a bit of fire in it. Heating up. And out you come. Here's your chair. Bring it right back to the wall. Put a blanket on the floor, and that blanket should go right up close underneath the chair. Let's see. I think another thing that might be useful is 2 bricks. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to kneel. This is my left leg. The one close to you is my left leg. So let's just everybody use the left leg first. Put your left foot up on that chair. Put your left knee down on the floor on that blanket. This is important. Put it so that you're on the quad muscle. Try to stay off your kneecap. Then you come up on these 2 bricks and you put your right foot on the floor. And then you stand up. So your Virasana heel is right against its buttock. And if you're feeling extra sparky, it goes, your buttocks go just inside, as if you were doing Virasana on the chair seat. Sit up straight, let your arms go, stretch them up. Keep your hips square. Reach up. And come out by stages, kneeling, change feet, hooking on that chair seat, left foot forward. Get the knee close to the chair and get off your kneecap. If it's unpleasant, you should not do it. It'll just give you a pain in the knee. Keep your knee safe. Push on the floor with that left foot, that front foot, come up, holding that chair. Now, when the front hip is tight, it puts you in a back bend. You can't lift your pelvis up because it's just tight. So you work with it. The tight hip, be patient. Okay. Now, when you're ready, take your arms up. Keep your pelvis level, meaning the up leg, the front leg hip has to be down, level with the virasana hip. And out you come. Both legs. Are you okay? Yes. Last one, if you feel like it. Make a loop for your foot. Make a pad for your knee. Those who, once you see this, if you don't want to do it, I fully understand. You would do a dog pose instead, because you're going to be coming out of back bends. This is our last one if we're going to do it. Now, you get that kneeling position again, and you put your first knee up on the chair and your second foot up forward, and then keep your knee safe. You put a strap around that foot. Then coming up, your arms go back and up and sort of skidding out on that rope. Now, if you're feeling sparky, you come forward. Okay. There's two faces. One is easy. It's almost what you just did. And the second one requires you to be very safe on that bent knee, on the quad side of that kneecap. Stretch your elbow straight so that your rib cage is made to open. Stretch those elbows. Keep the pelvis level, 2 hands holding. I don't know what's happening, Gay. You've got, is that strap around your foot? And then are both hands holding it, both hands holding? Good. I only see the tail in one hand. That's good then. Push it up. Do what you can. If the hips could come forward and you could stretch that left front thigh more for an even stretch. Yes, that's better. Come out then, change sides if you will change sides. Otherwise, it's dog pose for you. And I should say, if you've done one side, you should make some part of the shape of side 2, even if it is less pleasant or impossible. Go at least for the parts you can do. Keep your knee safe. Strap will go around the toes, but the ankle is easier to deal with. level hips. That forward leg has to be strong. It's a stabilizer, controller. Stretch those arms, stretch your back. And if and as those hips come forward, the curve of the body extends. It does not feel shrunken, it feels greater. And come out. So I will say some of you very, very, how shall I say, you are not technically in, or not, how shall I say, aesthetically, that's the word for it, in a back bend, but technically you are. This a back bend is defined as an extension of the front of the body, and they're referring most to the spine. So even this pose has really quite serious back bend elements in it, built into it, because of the extension just from the leg shape. So those of you who are just going up to the ceiling in this shape, you probably felt a tremendous front extension. That's a back bend. Okay, dog pose, everybody. Now, Karen, I see you did dog pose. So you do a wider than hip width, but not super wide Uttanasana. Okay, the rest of you, you want to be a minute or two lengthening your spine. Please remember your understanding of the shoulders being on the back body. Stretch your legs, Vidya. Draw back through the heels. And then had enough dog pose, come to Uttanasana. Karen, set up for, do you know this pose called Viparita Karani? No. Okay, I'll show. You need a wall for Viparita Karani. And because we've just done back bend shapes, I'm going to do this one with blankets. You take a blanket. Here's one that's folded as for shoulder stand. So you're going to fold that in half. So it gets kind of square looking, and right, or it preserves that squarish shape. It doesn't get long. And you bring it up near a wall and you use two of them. And if you're a tall person, you might use three, or a long and flexible spined person, you might use three. Average people, two. Even if you're not that flexible, it's not that demanding of flexibility. Now, have a strap as well. So watch, I'm going to go up. I'm tucking my shirt in so I don't become. I just roll sideways right up on top of those blankets with my buttocks at the wall. Then I'm going to take this strap around my calves and tighten the calves together. And before I'm finished, I want these blankets under my back ribs in such a place that they lift my chest and give me space for the diaphragm. And it should feel like the abdomen, all the way up to that diaphragm, is one step, you might say, above the chest and throat. So if the blankets are thin enough that you don't really feel that sense of terracing, with the chest going down a slope and the throat being on the next level down, and that abdomen and pelvis should feel level. So you want to have an imagination, an image in your mind of a mountain region with glacial lakes forming. So your legs are like a mountain, and this abdomen region is a high lake in the mountains. And it's very tranquil, level, peaceful. And you get to the edge of that lake, the edge where your two sets of ribs start coming together, where the diaphragm and the sternum meet. There's a little outlet for that lake, and the outlet has a small stream that flows past the heart to a pool, a second pond in at the pit of the throat. That pond also is level and tranquil, still. And as you breathe and that rib cage opens, both the pond both the upper pond and the lower pond deepen as the chest rises and the rib cage expands. The contents of the abdomen settle deeply. And if your pose is right, you don't feel that back wall of the spine. You just feel depth. Likewise, the throat, not running into obstacles, density, that pool in the throat is clear. So there's a third pool, and it's in the brain. And to release that pool, you need to release your thinking, future thinking, past thinking. You need to let the senses, all of which are housed in the face, let those senses subside, facial muscles subside. So the pool in the brain becomes very tranquil and deep. Now, if you are enjoying this, if those pools are staying tranquil, stay put. Otherwise, begin to come out toward Shavasana. If there is discomfort, come out. So be in a state of relaxation and yet remain conscious. Avoid drifting. Keep your attention focused on some object the easy one is the breath. Another easy one is your sensations in a particular place. Now, those who are still in Viparita Karani begin to come out. And be in Shavasana. It's not quite the end of class. This state of deep relaxation while remaining conscious is very precious. The state of relaxation without drifting. So here's the question. When the mind does drift, what is it drifting toward? When you somehow drop that focus on the breath or sensation, whatever that object you were focusing on, when that attention breaks and it moves somewhere else, what's it doing? What's it moving toward? Why does it do that? Bring yourselves back. When you're ready, you can, well, of course, you're home. You can stay put. You can also roll to your side and come up. Namaskar.